Whoa, 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 welcome back to the Costas Verde Show, where we talk about A, how to have a profitable crypto journey, and B, we take a look at what's going to happen next in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and traditional markets, which greatly affect Bitcoin price. So in today's show, we are going to start off with going through a journey of an ass kicking after about 5 days of me running hot and green. Everything I did, it just was right. Made money off of everything I did. And today, actually, half of yesterday, it started going wrong with the idea that Jerome Powell was getting ready to speak. So the market started getting weird, being unpredictable. And I had a really good day yesterday until the last third of it. So I gave back. I had almost a $3,000 day at one point closing trades, and then I gave all of it back besides $900. End of the day, $900 up, but it still felt like a loss. But today, I just straight got my ass kicked. I wasn't in tune with the markets, so we're going to check out me getting my ass kicked, where I got my ass kicked, what decisions I made wrong, so you can learn from that as well. And then we're going to take a look at where are Bitcoin and Ethereum and traditional markets going, because they're going to move together. And then we are going to do a little pop quiz at the end, so get ready, let's get it. I ran out of LaCroix drinks, which are a carbonated, calorie-free, aspartame-free drink, so I went to my garden, picked some strawberries, and cut a watermelon, blended it up, and put it in some water, but it still doesn't taste that great. Actually, it tastes a little better now. All right, maybe the sugars are marinating. All right, here we go. I got my ass kicked today. Let's start off with looking at the numbers, okay? It gets a little ugly, so watch out. All right. If I could put things in a perspective of optimism, it would be that just like price in an uptrend, so in my journey to take into account from 5K to 100K, you make higher lows. So today, let's just call this a higher low if we can be optimistic, but you're about ready to see some bloody numbers. And I only gave one alert today, which was, it was right in this area for a long, and it was only off by 1.5% because traditional markets had a fake out. And then I let my community know, hey, I'm not going to give any more alerts. You all should have been stopped out on that. And I let them know I'm not going to give any more alerts until I'm back in tune with the market. So, but I decided to try my luck without giving alerts, and it backfired. So let's go look at this carnage here. So take a look. I had about 6 days in a row where, I had like $800 days, $1,000 days, all that stuff, right? Just a bunch of green. Like, look at this guy. Bam. Right? $2,000 in one trade after fees. I had a really good 5 days in a row. Took my account from 16K up to 23. Where did I close it? I closed those positions probably at 22.8, actually. Yeah, 22.8. And then then a sea of red. I was only right one time. And that one time was during my 8 a.m. Discord futures workshop where we took a market long trade and it worked out perfectly. It was a very short in and out trade, but outside of that, I've been wrong. And I allowed myself, so I tried to hold on a little too long for this guy on a Ethereum long, and then I got stubborn. And then I decided, you know what? So you can see how it went from long to short. So I just started trying to make it work and get myself back to green, which I should have just hung it up after these 3 losses. I should have recognized I'm out of tune with the market. I need to stop. But no, I decided, you know what? Losing $500 or $650 isn't enough. Like, let's make it over 1,000. And after that, I was satisfied. I was like, all right, great. That's a good higher low for me. Let's take my account back down under 21K. So the Grim Reaper has to go knock out 21K again, unfortunately, or no, 21 and 22. But getting 21K will be easy. It's only $250. That's like a half a trade. But I got to take out essentially 2 doors again, 1.5 doors. And so I got my ass kicked today. And again, for those who follow me and all that stuff, you can ask my VIPs. I only gave 1 alert, and it was and some of them actually still made money off of it because they re-entered when I gave an alert, like, hey, this is not an official alert, but this looks like it's getting ready to go up because traditional markets just had a fake out to the downside, which we'll take a look at here, right? It's best seen on SPX. There was market structure just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It was making the same pattern. Look, same thing. And what happened? Jerome Powell speaking, everything went up. You break structure, make a lower low, and then scream up. And so what did Ethereum and Bitcoin do? The same exact thing. It's the same thing because they follow it exactly. I mean, literally, they follow it exactly. Boom, boom, boom. Same structure. Same breaking of structure. And then what did it do? Went right back into the structure. Just like SPX did. It broke structure, then went back into it. So I got my butt kicked from this essentially. And then I decided, you know what? So see this line here? I decided, hey, I haven't lost enough money today. This would have been a good short opportunity. So it's crossing this line again. Let's short again. And that's when I took the $700 loss like an idiot, thinking, okay, it's just going to come up to here. So I'll expand it up to here. And I took a bigger loss than what I should have. I broke rules. So I can break rules myself without giving alerts, and I did. But that's the price you pay when you break rules. Bam. Took a big bloody loss. So where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Let me make myself big here. So the first thing I did after my 3rd loss of the day, after having 5 days of running hot, this is a Dash hat, not Digibyte, Dash. So after about 5 days of just, literally, I could have closed my eyes and clicked and made money. It was to the point. Anyway, but after 3 losses in a row, not really getting any wins, I should have hung up the hat sooner. I'm usually okay about that, and I'm still okay. It's not like I destroyed my account. I stayed over 20K. Like, everything's okay. So I did it at an okay time, but I could have decided, and so this is a very important thing that this is among the more paid for content thing that I'll say on YouTube. But it's going to be very general, but I promise you what I'm about to say is very valuable, is deciding when to stop trading. And I did make a decision, okay, before I really destroyed my account, too much, but I could have made that decision a little earlier. And when you're in a string of small losses, especially after a string of wins, you just accept, hey, you know what? I'm reading the market wrong, which probably had to do with Jay Powell. I would have, none of that big fake out to the downside wouldn't have happened without him speaking. And I would have been green all day, but it doesn't matter the reason. That doesn't matter. Excuses don't matter. It matters about making money. So if I'm not making money, you stop until you're in tune with the market. I made that decision at an okay point. I could have done it earlier. So that's my first big mistake. The second big mistake is that short YouTube video that I made early in the morning. It's like, Tim, did you just ignore everything you said in there? Because you said 1102 needs to be used as resistance. And if that doesn't happen, then the trend still has a 50% or greater chance to be up. So let's take a look at the charts. Like, I literally made a video on it and explained it perfectly to everybody, and it's exactly what happened. But no, I decided to try to short here and take a $700 loss, like an idiot. So from that video, so this is the second mistake. The first mistake was not identifying early enough. Well, I guess it was early enough, but like super early that I'm out of tune with the market. I need to stop. The second mistake I made was in that video, I made the same box from that video. 1102 is exactly at the bottom. That's it. So you see on the right hand side, it says 1102, 1102. It went below. And I said in that video, if it just goes below, and I even drew something out almost to this level. I said at that exact moment in time, sure, because it broke down here, it probably is a coin flip of whether it's going to keep racing up and hit this orange line or that line here. I thought it was going to happen like at the same time, but when 2 important lines cross was from that video. If you watched it, but still, it's hit the orange line. And I said, if it just goes straight down and it has not used that exact line as resistance yet, it's still a 50-50 that it comes up to this orange line or that line, which I think it's actually getting ready to hit that line here shortly. And no, that is not a signal for anybody to go market long. Like, I'm not trying to give people signals. I'm not giving signals. I'm not in tune with the market today. So don't take anything, yeah, don't try to take that and say, market long, it's going to go up 2%, you know, like, which it actually might, but it's not, yeah, don't do that if you're sitting there with your KuCoin or Binance or whatever. Anyway, 1102 is the line. I said it needs to use it as resistance before you can then essentially confirm that this is off the table. So what happened exactly as it got to 1102? Look, where does the big candle happen? Exactly at 1102. Is that a coincidence? No, because it's a line everybody was looking at. And it broke through with force. It's not a coincidence that it happened at that exact dollar on Ethereum that I was talking about. And the second thing I did wrong was I was stubborn and decided, you know what? I'm just going to forget everything I know is right, and I'm going to concentrate on this line here. I just took losses. I want to get it back. So the last time it hit this line, if you shorted a wick above, that's a great trade. So it's probably going to do the same thing. This big candle here, it's just going to, and actually I thought it was going to be right on this candle. It actually did fill all my orders. I was in profit for a hot minute, but then it just used it as support and blasted off. And then I said to myself, oh, it's just coming up to this wick, so I'll stay in and actually add bigger orders up here, which I did. And those bigger orders, I didn't take much of a loss because I stopped myself out right at that wick. So from here to here is not much of a loss for big orders. But the orders I took in here, to go from there to there, that's a lot. That's where I took my $700 loss. So because I just decided to be stubborn and knowing that, wait, if this line is not used as resistance, it's going to keep going up. And that's exactly what happened. Exactly how almost exactly how I said it in that video. Yeah, so, and that's the valuable lesson. Those are the two things I did wrong today. And hopefully my showing you how bloody that was, even though it wasn't technically that bloody, but it was bad. Like, I lost $700 on a trade, like an idiot, when I just made a video saying it has to use it as resistance, and then it exploded up there. But hopefully seeing me go through a bad day after a string of like showing off, like, oh, look at, like, I have $1,200 of profit on open orders I'm getting ready to close, like making videos like that, you might say, haha, sucker, you deserve it. Well, I do deserve it. I did not decide quickly when to stop. I'm out of tune. And second, I just did, and then I followed up with a $700 loss doing something stupid. Totally forgetting, and honestly, I forgot. Like, I was so focused on this line. And I totally forgot about the idea of 1102, what I just said a few hours earlier. I actually forgot. I didn't ignore it. I chose to subconsciously ignore it, thinking that it's going to wick up maybe to that wick there, actually, which it did. So actually, I thought I was right for a minute. I was like, okay, it's going to go above here, hit that wick, which it did. I was shorting in this area. I was in profit, and then it blasted up. All right. So, and I hope that stuff is valuable, seeing how I screw up, because if you trade enough, you're going to screw up a lot. But the key is when you're wrong, you either want to make a little money or only lose a tiny bit. And you need to know what those numbers are. So I'll show you actually what that is for me. For me, when I am wrong, I like it to be around this. Like, this is within acceptable parameters. Like, if I can talk like Data on Star Trek Next Generation, like, I am functioning within, acceptable parameters. So this is acceptable. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. This is borderline. Okay, I took a bigger trade. I wanted to have a $2,000 trade. So the risk reward that was over. So my risk reward ratio, I like to do 1 to 5, 1 to 6, or something like that. And so my risk reward here was actually within acceptable parameters because I did heavier long there. I was expecting my profit target to be 2,000 or more. And so 1/5 of that is about 400. That's actually acceptable. But I like it to be like this, about like this. This is my average, and I'm fine with that. If I can do that 4 times in a day, I'll more than make up for it and be profitable over time because I typically have good setups. This is very good. I'm actually happy with this, and I'm happy with that. And if you can do something like this or this, these two I was ecstatic about. I made money when I was wrong, and I actually broke even when I was wrong, but I paid the fees. But I hit my stop at break even. So these types of things are big wins. When you're wrong so I was wrong twice, it only lost 75 cents. That's badass. Between both of these, right? That's great. That's what you want to do. This one is excusable because I was going for a big trade, but you can't take on big trades all the time. I just wanted to because I was on fire the last few days with the hiccup here. I thought, okay, I'm going to be right now, and I wasn't. But this right here is inexcusable. I already took on a big trade. Was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. I should have hung it up and stopped, and I didn't. So this right here, like, that's not good. All the other stuff, so all of this besides this number, that is fine. This is actually, for me, that is a normal red day. I can get over that real easy, but now this one's going to sting. I need to make that up first and slowly. So so on my VIP chat, so I'm not going to give you the secret sauce on how not to do that, but just what not to do. I'm not going to tell you how, but in my VIP chat and even my Cryptillion chat today, I let them know a fail-safe to not make that any worse. You know, like blowing your account or being $5,000 down or something. So I let them know what is a specific mental trick, something to stop yourself. I let them know about that, and I'm not going to go into that detail, but there are ways to do that. And if you haven't checked out my Discord, it is linked in the description section of all my videos. I put some bomb-ass stuff on Twitter as well, make some really easy to follow graphs. And if online communities are not your thing, I give about 15, sometimes up to 30 alerts weekly for the Cryptillion tier on YouTube, and I give the recorded sessions of the Cryptillion Discord chats that happen twice a week. I provide them to the YouTube tiers as well, so they can follow up with those as well and just watch them not live. All right. Now, so I said earlier, where are Bitcoin and Ethereum going? All right. Now, everything I'm about to say, just realize I accepted that I'm a little out of tune with the market. I've kind of thrown in the towel. But with that, there are some highly probable things brewing. And I'm going to zoom out here. I'm on the 5-minute chart. I need to probably zoom out to go into the 15-minute chart isn't much as zooming out, but it's zooming out enough. All right. You have three. So actually, let me turn off my channel. I'll turn that off for a second. Oh, my horizontals were inside my channel. All right, damn it. We'll just put that back on. So try to focus your eyes on the horizontals only, right? And maybe I can make them thicker boxes, like, so it's easier to stare at. All right, there you go. So stare at those three. So without focusing on these slanted lines, the channel, we have Bitcoin came down to perfectly use this as support, which is another mistake I made. Anyway, it used it as support. I could have easily entered along on that, but made money today. But nope, I decided to short like an idiot. Anyway, so this has been used as support. So what is the next horizontal of resistance? Right here. Right here. Horizontals only. Now start. Ooh, this line should not be. That line shouldn't be there. Now look at any lines that are not horizontal. This is going to be resistance. It's really close to here. So let's zoom into that point. I'll leave it there. Boom, boom. So if price can come up to here, you're going to have a lot of resistance in this area because you have a horizontal resistance and a channel resistance. So, but at the same rate, when two important lines cross, a horizontal with the point of control of the channel, price likes to get sucked into it. So just like my video from earlier today discussing Ethereum, that's the same area. That's the equivalent, Bitcoin's equivalent of what I said for, what was the number? 1160. Ethereum is going to be attracted to 1160, and that's Bitcoin's equivalent. So I think it's highly probable, given that it already bounced from one horizontal, the next resistance of the channel is up here, and the next resistance of a horizontal is up here. So it's already used that one as support. It's used this line, this channel line as support. So use that support, use that support. What's the next pit stop? Here. So Bitcoin will very, 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 very likely make its way up today within the next 8 hours between 21.4 and 21.6. It's extremely likely. Extremely. What happens after that? Probably a pullback. Will it keep going from there? I don't know. I'll have to judge the pullback and how the candles are behaving with maybe this little mini horizontal here. Something like that. Like this would be an appropriate pullback area. Something to that effect. It could come up here and pull back, and then I want to see how small candles play there. So I don't want to make that guess. But for the immediate price action here, 21.4 to 21.6, and for Ethereum, it's a more precise number. It looks like it's going to. It looks like it wants to dip into here somewhere because you have the top of the point of control that's just over this line, and the bottom, so zoom way in here, the bottom, so the orange and black are my points of control. It already used that as support. So it's getting ready to make a higher high, most likely. So where is it going to begin? Where are sellers going to begin coming in? At this line or at that line? Are they looking at the same exact thing I am? No, but for some reason, just how I draw lines, it typically is very accurate with judging when our when our buyers going to stop buying so hard and when our sellers going to start selling a little harder. And it's essentially going to be more like a triangle like this. Come on, Tim. 0 for 2. There we go. That triangle right there. That is the target. It could go all the way up to 1173. But it's going to hit this triangle most likely. Maybe I should make this triangle a little bit bigger, because it might happen immediately. So something like that. Yeah, it's going to hit this triangle, extreme likelihood. Okay, so somewhere between 1160 to, let's say, 1175. Will it very likely blast through there? No, because sellers will come in. But it could make a quick higher low, chill out with traditional markets going, kind of ride this line and wait for, something to traditional markets tomorrow and really blast up. And what would that be? That would be a low, a higher low, and a higher low. But I want to understand, how does price interact with this line? Does it want to come all the way back down here, which would still be a higher low to that one? There's a lot of stuff, a lot of things that could happen after, even if it didn't go up to that line. This is Ethereum, so this is Ethereum 1170-ish, 1160-ish. But I think it would pull back to some degree, but to what degree, I don't know. I'd have to see how price interacts with this line. And then if it can't hold it, use it as resistance, it would most likely come at least down to that, this area here. So in the very short-term time frames, I see more upside. Now, zooming out to get, a feel for leading into next week, I'll go to the daily. Let's observe the daily chart. And my channels don't really work with the daily chart very well, so why do I have so many things in my object tree when I just saw? Why did my object tree get all rearranged just because I'm on the daily chart? This is weird. It's so strange. It just deleted channel. It got rid of my folder, and it just deleted my folder. That is freaking strange. Okay, anyway, that's the second time that's happened. Okay, trading view glitch. All right, so if I zoom out on the daily on Bitcoin on a different chart, since trading view this is Bitcoin. Here we go. Bam. And channel. Okay, so I guess it only happened once on Ethereum. All right, if I zoom out to the daily, to try to get an idea of what is going to happen next week, I can zoom way out and look at structure left. It's about ready to hit that area here from late 2020 or early 2021. Yeah, December 2020. It's about ready to bump its head on there. So I'm going to draw a box, which I actually might already have on the other chart. That's probably one of my boxes. But zooming way out, it's getting ready to approach this. So this is looking left. Among the most important things you can do in your crypto journey is look left. It's not always 2 years left, but so the daily chart is saying that it looks like it wants to come up to this line at least, which is 22.1, which is higher than my targets there. But this is going into next week or up to even here. But with this wick there, I would actually put for the small time frames, I would go like this. That's going to be hard to get past. So Bitcoin on the daily going into next week, it looks fairly probable that it's going to go somewhere between 22.1 and 23.2. 22.1 to 23.2. That's larger stuff into next week. And potentially, up to 24 and change. So now I want to go back to my channel on the small time frames to see, does that align with anything obvious, so that when two different types of analyses align, it makes it more probable in theory. Especially if you're practiced with it, it really does. You can have more confidence in that. So we're going to focus our eyes on 22-1. God, I'm not going to remember these freaking numbers. $23.1, 24 and change. Let's just say 24.1. So that will be easy to remember. 22.1, 23.1, 24.1. Each of those are in play. Actually, I can't remember that. Okay. Dirt to dirt. Brain cells activate. All right. Now let's go back to. Let's get rid of those. Actually, I don't want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of this and get rid of this. Put on the 5-minute chart. Put my channel back on. There we go. And this channel is over 110 days long, so it holds a lot of weight. All right, so I'm going to stick an arrow at 23.1. No, shit, now I forgot the numbers. Is it 20? No, 22.1. 22.1. 22.1. All right, there. Yep, right there. So I'll make it smaller. 23.1. Which is right there. Maybe make it over here, because if it's higher, it's going to take longer to get there most likely. And then 24.1. Take a little longer to get there, something like this. Bam. All right, so what does that roughly align with? It roughly aligns with that line, and that line. So if that second horizontal on the other Bitcoin chart, which, did I delete those lines? Damn it, I did. But those horizontals I put there, if that first horizontal is hit, what this is suggesting is it will wick above it and most likely just race up to hit that. So it's more likely 22,350 is a better answer, a response. But this is 22.1, so it'll probably go just above it to hit that. So this is a much more probabilistic area than that horizontal. It's just adding $250, which is a very small amount on a percentage basis. And so now I can see, and this one, it's only about $50 off. So, $25 off, 23.1, 27. And then this one's spot on the money. So those horizontals align with what I'm doing for the small time frames. And now I just realized, well, I can just play the line, see how it interacts. How does it interact with the top of the point of control? How does it interact with here? How does it interact with here? How does it interact with here? They're probably going to have pullbacks from here. And if you blast up to it, well, then you can just bet your money that it's going up to either the horizontal or to this next line. And that's how I would play the chart. So throughout the week, into next week, it does look like one of these two boxes will be hit. It really, really does. On Bitcoin. It looks like, what was it? It looks like 23.1 and 20 or 24.1 will be hit. But then by next week, by the end of next week. And honestly, the time frame on this is like this week through the weekend, which doesn't make sense. I don't really see Bitcoin getting that aggressive, but it could just pull back and hit those hit those levels a little later for next week. But it looks kind of probable. However, the problem with that is if that does happen into next week, it'll make analysis a little bit more challenging, because so that's going into like Friday night there. If it happens next week, well, this level is above channel. So if it can't start racing up Friday night up to here, at least up to here, then this level becomes less probable for the week after, because it would have to get above my top channel line. Does that make sense? However, from a horizontal perspective, this one right here, 23.1, would still be in play, because even next week, 23.1 would be the top of this channel. Does that make sense? So this week, 23.1 is this line, but next week, 23.1 is the top line, because it's descending. Therefore, if with the idea that price won't zoom up all the way to 24.1 this week because it's kind of far away, traditional markets are closed, it would have to happen all at once on Friday, which would be a pretty massive day. If you don't see a massive day on Friday, a massive green day, then that means for next week, the second horizontal from that previous chart when I use the daily, it's a lot more probable. The 23.1 target is way more probable. And so you just saw me piece together, even from a time, so you can see how the time axis greatly affects my targets, right? If it can't go all the way up in one hot Friday to 24.1, then next week it's going to have a lot of trouble at 23.1 because that channel. And it's a 110-day long channel. It's not like some, micro channel that has 2 days of price history. No, this has months and months of price history. And so that would be my analysis going into next week, and what that looks like for Ethereum is pretty similar stuff. It's extremely similar. Even though Ethereum has a triple decker, Ethereum's been behaving much more structurally bullish than Bitcoin, actually. That's why it's busted out of channels and made like 2 new ones. But see, this triangle's getting ready to behave. See that? But if next week, let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so next week, let's go 3. No, that's only 1 day out. Boy, so this is only 2 days out. The same price level as the top of that channel. So that's more evidence that if things don't get hot this week, then the likelihood for tomorrow, or even into Saturday. Saturday could be a hot day. Friday and Saturday both green without markets open. That can happen. But if it doesn't happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the upper targets are probably, you're going to bring them down for the next week just a little bit by $1,000 on Bitcoin, and that should get you through Monday, what I just told you. And I'm going to open things up to questions. All right. I hope you liked seeing me get my ass kicked, because I've been really doing some showboating on Twitter and stuff. But I did deserve it. I traded when I shouldn't have been trading. Absolutely. So I definitely deserved it. So if you're like, screw, like if you're on here and you're only here because you're a troll or whatever, hey man, relish it, because I absolutely deserve that butt kicking. I deserve that minus $700 and $714 loss. Maybe it was $740. $714. I definitely deserved it. But again, I just took my account from 16 to 23.2 or something real fast. So it's a higher low. It's a higher low. Make myself feel better. All right, here we go. Yeah. I mean, so I'm glad you like the honesty, because I'm not going to talk about other accounts or whatever, but it's hard to find information on there that's not good, right? And the only reason I've been able to showboat the last few days with all good stuff is because I really was on a roll. But now that I'm not, I got my ass kicked for a day and a half. So I was up like almost $3,000 yesterday. But when I closed the positions, it's more like 2,300. I gave back 1,400, and I only ended up $850 up yesterday. Maybe not. Yeah, it was more like 920. So I almost had a $1,000 day still, but it felt like a loss. And then the momentum downward just continued. So yeah, but it's important because that's going to be your experience too. You need to know that this shit's real. Like, and most of the information out there is like, it's green. I'm only sharing my green stuff. And so you think like run it in trying to learn, I should be green every day. Like, no, you're going to get your ass kicked a lot. You're going to get your ass kicked a bunch. It's just, you got to reduce when you're getting your ass kicked, just stop. Just stop for a bit. That's all you do. Don't keep trading. All right. Anyway, the fake out to the downside got me. Yeah, it got me on F2. And my community alert for my VIPs, it was off by 1.5%. But you can't anticipate a fake out to the downside because we're not market makers with $100 or $500 million trading desks who have a bunch of analysts watching Jay Powell and a team and doing stuff together, driving shit down. Like you can't trade that. You don't trade that. You can trade it to the downside because it's breaking structure, but then it's going to turn right back around, and you have no reason to long it because it's most likely going to make a lower high than make a lower low. But nope, it just zoomed up. Yeah, the fake outs happen, and so I also realized the big mistake is The last the last ass kicking I got was during the FOMC meeting. So I made a rule for myself. When JPAL is on camera or they're getting ready to release CPI data, I'm not freaking trading. And if I just can't stop myself, I will move all but $1,000 out of my futures account and I'll hide it in a different account. I will make sure, like, I will hide it from myself if he's speaking or CPI the next day or CPI data is getting ready to, even a day and a half, because that's when I started losing. No, it was only 16 hours before. So yeah, the trend started doing weird stuff, unpredictable, or to me unpredictably, 16 hours before, and during FOMC like 2-3 weeks ago, I got my ass kicked hard, even harder than today, because I didn't give up and I did aggressive shit and I got my ass handed to me. So yeah. When JPAL speaks or Fed is releasing important data, I'm probably not going to trade, and I won't give alerts either, because it hasn't been working out, and because it becomes unpredictable, right? So to make money in crypto, you have to have a blend of predictability and volatility. Volatility without predictability, you're going to get your ass handed to you over time. The first 2 times you try it in that environment, high volatility, low predictability, if you win, that's actually like the worst thing that can happen to you, because if you lose twice, you're going to say, oh, I got it right the first 2 times. I'm going to keep going. Then you lose a 3rd time, then a 4th time, and you realize, no, I'll still probably be right the next time it's high volatility, low predictability. And you just keep getting your ass kicked because those first 2 times you were right? But no, you have to have predictability and volatility to be profitable. That's just the way it is. And so when he speaks or the Fed is getting ready to release important information, the markets do become unpredictable. Fake outs happen. You can't trade fake outs because you're not a market maker. You don't trade them. Just get out and you wait for the next setup. Yeah, so I for my community, I'm going to start on my community calendar where I list when I do live chats or futures workshops early in the morning. I'm going to start putting notes up there on the calendar when the Fed stuff is going to be speaking, because it's important. It is. It makes it literally dictates crypto price. It's really unfortunate that's the way it is. You have to accept reality. So there's the reality pill for you. All right. Made it today. Good. Hey, nice to see you, Andre here. How probable is it that BTC goes back to 16.6 or below? I think it's very probable. Yeah, I think it's extremely probable. 16.6, yeah, because my next target is 16.4. So I think it's highly, highly probable. Yeah, extremely. This is just a bear market rally. So think about your question and the possibilities of answers. If I said no, that means the bottom's in. But when you think about it, crypto, as we just went over, is directly dictated, essentially, almost to the 1-minute candle. Like, it's true. Sometimes it'll break the correlation with the stock market for like 3 hours, sometimes. And you'll notice Bitcoin doesn't fucking do anything when Monday through Friday at about, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. New York? Well, I think that's the hour it closes, right? The futures are open 23 hours a day in traditional markets. That 1 hour, Bitcoin never does anything. It waits for it to open back up for it to start moving again. So also think about that. Like, don't get in position when futures markets are Monday through Friday of traditional finance is closed. Like, it happens on Bitcoin because it's waiting for traditional markets to open up. So it goes sideways for an hour and does nothing, or it goes down then back up within an hour, or up then straight down within that hour. And it starts off where it starts off where it left off when traditional markets and futures open and close. All right, anyway, but yeah. So with that idea, the stock market is extremely likely to not be at a bottom. Gotcha, bitch. There. I got some bug spray, and if you get a bug with it, it'll die within like a minute or 2, or at least stop flying and then die within 5 minutes. Anyway, it's better than a fly swatter. Just but anyway, so the stock market is likely not at a bottom. Therefore, Bitcoin probably isn't either. It's very probable to go lower. Extremely probable. And honestly, here's almost a doomsday scenario. I'm serious with what I'm about to say. What's happening right now is in the stock market is especially NASDAQ is very reminiscent. It's probably not to this quite the same degree, but it's more than 2008. This is way more similar to the dot-com bubble, and I've already shown on the, if you saw my origin lines on, Eric, just watch. Actually, I can just show you. So here's a visual of why I say it so confidently. Look, here is NASDAQ futures. I've done this twice on YouTube already, but I'll do a quick version, right? So this is 2008 crash. Okay, it started crashing in 2017, and look at the blue line. The blue line is the master origin line. It's the most important straight line in all of this chart. There is not a single straight line that's more important than this blue line. There isn't. If you think there is, you're wrong. I like saying that, but you would be wrong. I say that very confidently. So it's the most important because it's the mean, right? So if price gets too far below it, it comes back up closer to it, or at least to the, the tropic lines. Like this is the equator, the two tropic lines, right? So it went way below it. It zoomed right back up to the tropic line of the equator. And then it made its way to the equator, pulled back to the tropic line, went to the equator, went up to the next tropic line, back to the other tropic line, went to the next tropic line, went to the other tropic line, and then zoomed up. So it stays by the average. So the dot-com bubble back here, this is 2000, it got way above it. And what did it do? It fell straight to it, or straight to the tropic line, tried to bounce, went past the equator, tried to bounce at the tropic line. So it'll go back to the average. But the higher it is above it, and it has to come back to touch it, which it will. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. It will come back to touch it. But if it goes too high, as on its descent down, it will pass it. It will pass the equator. It won't just stick its landing there unless it just goes up a little bit. So zoom into this. If it just goes a little bit above the equator, yeah, it can have a soft landing and bounce on it and continue up. But if it starts from way above, so here's the visual of my answer to you. Like, yes, it's extremely probable. If you go way above, you have to come back to touch it. And if you're too far above, you'll go below it. So now go to current state. And what happened? It's the second highest above the mean it's ever been. Why? Because after coronavirus, what happened? Almost half of the entire money supply was printed in 12 months. So at this point here, almost half of all dollars in circulation, whether that's digitally in banks going back and forth, like make-believe money, which it pretty much is, fiat, or cash dollars, half of the money supply, it's more like 40%. But at that moment, almost half the money supply had been printed within 12 months. That's what caused this. It was a party for Wall Street. Just a straight up party. And honestly, it almost seems like it's fucking planned. Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but you have the largest... what I'm about to say is not a strict opinion. It just is a thought. Okay, I'm not placing this as an opinion. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's going to sound like I am, but I don't hold this as a strong opinion. But it is kind of weird that the largest working group of the history of the United States, the boomers, are getting ready to retire. Exactly when we're wiping out a bunch of money, but the bankers and traditional finance has a party before the wipeout happens, as the biggest group of people are getting ready to retire. And something exposed to global population that targets that same age group from a virus standpoint. Like, it makes you scratch your head. Like, let's reduce that population. Then the ones that are left, let's make sure they can't cash out. Like, it almost seems too coincidental to be a coincidence. Anyway, so I actually don't hold that opinion. It's just, in the chart, it does look kind of strange that it's happening at the same time boomers, unfortunately, are trying to retire and use their 401k, which they won't be seeing much left of it. But technically, their 401ks are as good as they were back like just a year ago, so it's not dire. But anyway, okay, let's see here. So it went too far above the mean. It's got to fall back to it. So do you think, so question for you, given that it went this far above the average and it's falling back to it, do you think it's going to stick its landing on that blue line? No, it won't. It's going to go at least to the next tropic line. I can almost guarantee. I can't guarantee it because I'm not an omnipotent being. Even though the last 5 days in the charts, it felt like I was. I was on a roll. But I don't know. I can't guarantee it. But I would sure bet on it. If you wanted to bet me $100 that it will or won't stick its landing on that blue line, I would. Hell, yes, I would take that bet in a heartbeat. Even though I don't like to bet, I like to be the house. But in that case, I would bet because I would be the house. I would have an extremely good chance of winning that $100 because it's probably going to go past that blue line by a lot. And it's probably coming down here. So NASDAQ is probably going to hit $8,800, 8,800. Right? So how much more does that have to go? 24% from current. Minimum. It'll probably stop around there, but it might not. It might not. But it'll probably stop somewhere close to that point. But if the stock market if NASDAQ needs a whole 25% more, that's like 40% or more on Bitcoin. So let's go to Bitcoin. So I'm piecing, that's a very important question, what you just asked. And hopefully I'm giving you compelling reasons behind my answer. Like this stuff makes sense. Like visually, mathematically, structurally, like Legos with that blue line, mean reversion, all that stuff. We're going back to the average. So current price, if NASDAQ has 25% to go, it's a bigger percentage for Bitcoin. And let's just call it 40. That's 12K. 12K is absolutely on the table. Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm not going to put any numbers out there that are much lower, even though you could get a stray wick down to 10 or 9,600 to fill the very last gap of CMEs. So in that, if there is a nasty capitulation, and 12K really is where it's going to go down to on a weekly closure basis, there is a CME gap. So I have all the gaps listed here, right? So like all the orange lines are gaps. The last unfilled gap is down here at 9,600. So the 12K area is roughly right here. If this is where the week of that week is going to close, and 12K is like the closing bottom of the weekly, right? So no weekly closes much below 12K, right at 12K. You could easily have a spare wick, and it would only be down there for an hour, and then in 2 more hours, it'd be back at 12K. Does that make sense? So I could actually see $9,600 Bitcoin, under a 4-digit Bitcoin happening. As NASDAQ goes down to the what did I say? The equator and the tropics lines. The tropic line below the equator. That could happen. It could. So I would throw out one 4-digit number below 12K. It'd be 9,600. But it would have to happen during the week. The CME, it can't fill the gap if that CME is not open, and the CME closes at like 5 p.m. New York on Friday. So if that were to happen, it would be during the week, and it would not be able to happen at Saturday at 3 a.m. like most bullshit happens, just like last time. It was Saturday at 3 a.m., and I said that 5 or 6 days before it happened. It's like, usually when it tanks, it's Saturday at 3 a.m. That's when it went to 17.6. Saturday at 2:48 a.m. That's when, so that's literally when people, I don't think it's programmed. I think people like wake up, taking on shorts, or they had already been taking on shorts for the last 5 days because Bitcoin flatlined for like 2 days. They were taking on shorts, keeping it level so they could add more shorts, get more people to long before driving it down. And I think people were at their desk at 2 a.m. in the morning planning that. They probably went into work late and left really late and made a lot of money for whoever their employer was, or if they're part of a group. It was definitely a planned thing because they didn't have to move traditional markets to move Bitcoin. They only had to move Bitcoin, right? And that's why it happens. It's Saturdays. It's 3 a.m. in the morning or late Friday night into Saturday morning. All right, cool. Let me, I got to turn on my air conditioner. All right. Okay, I will try to answer questions faster, but that was a really important question because we're talking about bottom targets for Bitcoin, and I want you to know that 12K, 16.4, 14K, and 12K are the next pit stops. That's it. Like, those are the only bottom targets that you, like, those are the next potential bottom targets. So 16.4, yes. And 12K is absolutely on the table. Spare wick down to 9,600, sure. Why not? All right, here we go. Let's go. Hey, Legal Alien, nice to see you. I'm trying to turn down the gain on my microphone so you can't hear the air conditioner, but it's not working, so I'll just turn off the air conditioner here in a minute. Okay, ETH reached 1156 and is still going strong. Where is the next realistic stop? I started the stream off covering that, so I probably answered that after you asked the question because you asked it really early in the stream, so you already know the answer. I went into full-on detail of that. It's gonna wiggle its way up there. That could be a first lower high before it then comes here, though. So if it hits this again, I mean, gosh, I would be almost compelled to break my rule of not trading the rest of the day. But I think I would just have to, I would have to miss out on that. But yeah, it's gonna hit that black triangle most likely. It's very likely gonna hit this. It could hit here first and then go up, but that's where it's going to stop. It's going to pull back from there. Could it go up after that? Yeah, maybe, but we've already discussed that. All right, that's a good question, though. Hey, from California. Hey, Sir Gabe. Bitcoin is going to squeeze to 36. 36, huh? You sound pretty confident. And the last time somebody felt confident about something, I even made a comment on YouTube. You sound confident. That's not good. The next day, they were wrong. Okay. 36. That's not a squeeze, though. A squeeze would be down because longs are off the chart. So I think first, thing that I would have to nitpick in that comment is it's not a squeeze because most of the leverage right now is longs. So that actually is not a squeeze by definition, to my knowledge. 36 is this. Yeah, I mean, if shorts were off the table, that would be a squeeze. That'd be pretty massive. It does make sense structurally, but it's so far away from current price that it would be silly to count it as probable, in my opinion, unless you're an insider and you know that the stock market is going to have a massive rally. But that's... The stock market, bear market rallies go up to the daily 89 and go back down. And it tried to do it recently, and it came up shy. So I think that's off the table. I think the NASDAQ move down is actually getting ready to accelerate down. But so you got a lot of stuff to pass first. I mean, 28K. You know how many sellers are going to step in here? You have to get past that first, which, I mean, maybe up to 28. I could see 28 happening. I can't see this happening yet. But if you could get to 28, make a higher low, get above 28, use it as support, yeah, at that point. But hit your head, higher low, get above, use it as support. At that moment, I would say, yeah, 36 is the next stop. But down here, Like, I think that's just... It's almost like pissing in the wind, in my opinion. I think you're waxing philosophically, just making a guess. So, but it could happen. But I think it's so far away that it's just so unlikely. Why would you talk about it at this point? All right, I try to only talk about things that have a at least fighting chance. At the exact moment with all of the information in front of me, it has at least a 30% chance of happening. And that, at this time, with all the information in front of us, it does not have a 30% chance of happening. It doesn't. So I wouldn't personally talk about it. All right. Even though, ironically, I am talking about it. All right. Yeah, we always got to do Kadena in these. I'll do it. We'll cover Kadena. Don't worry. Not enough chart information to short. Yeah, in this very moment, no way. I wouldn't short. You got aggressive higher highs and higher lows. No way. But once you start getting to a point with aggressive higher highs and higher lows, and you get to a point where sellers are going to not only step in, but buyers are going to stop buying so hard, that's the black triangle. So, Again, that's not a short signal for people, you know. But it's probable. Yeah, it's very probable actually. If and when assuming it hits that, which it probably will. When I make triangles and boxes, they're usually hit. Hopefully, if you're viewing this, you know by now. Solana, Matic. I got laughed at with my boxes, and what happened? They were too high. It just smashed. Actually, some of them it bounced on it, made a lower high, then smashed through it. But they were all hit. All of them. Every single box I made on an altcoin was hit. Right? So, like, when I draw a triangle or a box, you might want to draw it in your chart too, because it's got a strong chance of hitting and being right. It's got a very strong chance. I draw them because of that reason. Like what I was saying earlier, I don't like to discuss things that don't have a probability or close to a probability. Right? I don't even want to think about it. Because why? I could use that time to think about what's more probable and plan for that and plan to make money, as opposed to taking my time thinking about improbable things. It's not good bang for your brain cell, bang for your buck, but changing the idiom to it's not good bang for a brain cell function, in my opinion. All right, here we go. I think after this ramp up, Ernie Jean asks, do you still think that after this move up, we will then continue down to lower bear targets for both BTC and ETH? Yeah, so I answered that above. I gave the NASDAQ reason, all that stuff. I'm reading old questions, apparently, because I spent 20 minutes talking about Bitcoin. Kadeena's advisory. Okay, here's one about Kadena. Let me turn off my air conditioner. This might be important. All right, so here we go. Kadeena's advisory team consists of experts, just like Cardano. Dr. Stuart Haber, the co-inventor of blockchain and the most cited author in Satoshi Nakamoto's renowned 2008 white paper. That's legit. However, my challenge to you there with that, it appears to be facts, so I can't trust you 100% on that, but it looks like you've done your research. My challenge to that set of potential facts there, but I'll just loosely label them facts, is this. Define advisory team. What does advisory mean? And think about human incentive. These projects, they could have potentially just handed over some Kadena coins, people who are big names, and said, we want to list you as an advisor. Here you go. Here's the reward if you say yes. And now they have marketing that it could have been just paid for marketing. They're on an advisory team, the smartest people ever. So that's mixing define advisory team or advisory. What does that actually mean? But then think about human incentive and try to connect that. So on one end, they were just loosely paid and just so that for marketing. That's a possibility, right? On the other end of the spectrum is that advisory team is there at meetings, they know the team, they will be right elbow to elbow with the coders and all that stuff twice a week. That's on the other end of the spectrum. They're really advising, okay? In the field, boots on the ground. So what is reality is going to be somewhere in that spectrum. My challenge for you is put a pin where it actually is. And I bet you can't. I don't think you could. So that the idea behind that challenge is, you might be able to, but and I suggest you try, because the other end that I said just paid for marketing, that could be true. You need to find out. Advisory, VeChain has run off partnership stuff for 5 years without even saying what partnership means. And they're not, they're just letting folk, essentially in loose terms, companies are experimenting with their blockchain, this and that, but they don't have people paying to be on their blockchain and using their services. They don't have a revenue source necessarily from that, specifically from a customer base who relies business-wise on their blockchain. That's not happening. define partnership. It doesn't mean, so thank goodness that didn't create a lot of pumps this time. But in 2017, even in bear market rallies 2018, partnership this, B-Chain off the charts, because they were the most notorious for that. We have partnerships with Walmart China. No, you fucking don't. Like, no, you don't. So define that. That would be my challenge for you there. All right, anyway. So always be pessimistic, man. Always define, like, think of the spectrum of what the reality could be and realize, wait, I don't know where it actually is on that spectrum. Yeah, and I bet you don't. Maybe you do, but I bet you don't. Kadina's evaluation. Okay. Anyway, means nothing. Yeah, that's it. Grace. I would guess it means close to nothing, but it might. It could. It could. Yeah, Grace. That's also another. So Grace is on fire with two really good things. Yeah. So about the bottom, I don't know. Yeah, you actually don't. The only person who knows is the person with a couple $100 million who already knows where they're going to market buy and cause a huge, huge daily candle, just like in 2019. That person decided that 3,200 was the bottom. It was, it might have been a single person, but it was probably, some type of institution, hedge fund or something that decided that was the bottom. And that's how they were so sure with their bet, which led Bitcoin to racing up to 14K because of that massive it was a $100 million buy across several exchanges. It was huge. So you can only know if you are that person, and you can know. You can decide when the bottom is if you have that sort of money. All right, to a certain degree, you could be wrong too, but you have a chance of being correct. Okay. Bitcoin put a top with the intro of CME, BITO, and the cash settled futures. Now we have BITI. Yeah, so yes, early 2018 is when CMEs for Bitcoin were initiated, and that's exactly when it fell, right? But it was exactly at a 4-year cycle. So those people who let it happen probably knew that was the 4-year cycle, and everybody, the big people, were short, right? Because they had a lot of Bitcoin to sell on spot to make it happen. But I don't think it was causality. I think it was more of a plan, just something reading in the charts anyway. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to get at there. So maybe the bottom is in and get massive short. I don't think you can have a short squeeze with all these. Look. So Bitfinex is roughly representative of the whole market. Okay. This is the daily chart. Can you see anything below? No, you can't. Still can't. Still can't. Now you can. How is going up going to be a squeeze? That's not a squeeze. Shorts near the bottom or middle bottom of the chart. Of course, this is only Bitfinex. It's the whale, what's called the whale exchange, because it's got really good liquidity, a lot of money flowing through it. It's roughly representative, all right? Is it perfect? No. Representative of the overall all exchanges together? No. But it's roughly right. It's a decent unit of measurement to get a rough idea, because you actually can't. No other exchanges really provide that information for us plebs. Like you have to pay for it, or you don't provide it, or I don't know how you get that information actually. But yeah, look, there you go. That's not a squeeze, man. Maybe I'm missing something. It's possible, but I don't think that would be a squeeze. I think those longs, just exacerbate the glaring probability that shit's gonna go lower. This just adds fuel to the data that says it's gonna go lower. This is like begging to get destroyed. Like it's like, oh, it's already probably gonna go down. Well, let's make it even more probable as we lose our money. That's literally what's happening here. That's not a squeeze, man. Yeah, that's not a squeeze. All right. Okay, so AOTA, nice to see you again. Good to see you here. All right, if we got hot and get to 22, yeah, that's creeping up. But I think that actually is kind of probable this week into Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So if we go to 22K, how high would Trias, S Fund, and Secret go? Oh, boy. Well, they actually, this is not a bad time to ask that question because Bitcoin dominance, wrong one, right there. Bitcoin dominance is having a pretty serious pullback. So if this doesn't, so this is Bitcoin dominance. Good thing my charts are labeled. So because I give so many updates, I like for my Discord community and YouTube tiers that I just like to have it always there. Anyway, so gosh, they could actually get a pretty good pump, each of them. So I can answer all three at once, okay? And you just have to put the number behind it. Just use, I'm assuming I'm going to answer all three at once so I can get to other questions, but I'm going to give you the right answer. With that idea as the crux of my answer, if Bitcoin were to get to 22, just figure out what percentage is that. .6%. So with Bitcoin dominance being a little weak right now, they could go up maybe 10%. That's it. Each of them. Maybe 10%. But somewhere between 5 to 10% is pretty likely. So just take the measuring tool, current price, up 10%. That's probably about the limit for that parameter of 22K for each of them. Yeah. Now, if one of them hasn't been moving at all at any Bitcoin movement up, then I would say that would probably won't. But each of them has a fighting chance to go 10% pump from current price. Each of them. All right. Either that fly didn't die or I had two in my office. Oh man, my kids and wife opened the door too long. Letting the flies in. Summertime. All right. Chinese 1 week. I don't know what that means. Daz biking for fun. I'm going to short your hat. Grace has a lot of good stuff today. Oh, thank you, Grace. The biddy. Where'd it go? Shit. Wait for it. There will be a good candle short. I feel it in my bones. People will call the bull market back on, and the bear market will ensue because it's the fourth turning. Yeah, that's probably how it'll happen. We're gonna, that's what bear market rallies are. They get people excited, and then it just blows up in their face. That's and you'll have a bunch of YouTubers and crypto accounts saying that's the bottom. Especially if Bitcoin gets to 24K to the top of that channel, you'll have all these people saying that's the bottom, and then that's when you know, like within a week, it's gonna go down. That's just the way it is. Darn it! I thought I saw somebody explaining what the biddy ETF was. Let me read through some of these. Bang your head. Somebody says Kadena has never paid anyone for any kind of marketing. How do you know? Because they said so? Remember, I only like to think about things that are probable. That's not probable. That's not how human incentive works. They want to succeed. They're going to do, if they have a little extra spare cash, paying for marketing is smart. How do you think Apple and iPhones, like what is, well, that too, Apple itself, and then insurance companies. That's the crux of their success, is successful marketing. Of course, your product has to be good too, right? So it goes hand in hand. But you can have the best product, no marketing, you don't sell anything. Therefore, you wasted all that R&D money and all the people you paid to make it, and the plants and building facilities. Marketing is huge for success, and for some success, especially insurance. That's why Geico and Allstate and AVAX. I almost said it like the duck on accident. AVAX. That's why they have the best commercials out of all. There's not a single industry with anywhere close to good as commercials as insurance. Why? Because that's how they make their money, is by focusing on marketing. That's what makes them successful. So I don't know. I think what you just claimed is really improbable, even if they claim so. Like it's not. It would actually be stupid. Why wouldn't you pay for marketing? That's retarded. That's honestly stupid. If that's true, that's dumb. But they shouldn't be spending money on marketing in a bear market because it's not going to do anything. But I would be surprised if they didn't spend any money on marketing in the bull market, which that's where crypto companies should save most of their money. Is for bull markets. So anyway, like for me as a YouTuber, like you can pay to have YouTube go above and beyond the actual algo to present your video for what's next or showing up on the homepage. It can't force people to click it, but it can give you features to have it to push it to more people for the availability, just visibility. And so from a YouTuber perspective, the same thing. I wouldn't pay for advertising to do that in a bear market. That'd be a horrible bang for your buck. Horrible bang for your buck. Just absolutely horrible. But I learned about that stuff after the bull market, so I've never been able to really use it. Why does Silo randomly pump 60-70% in a week and AVAX and near protocol bear market targets? Okay. All right, DCF, nice to see you. That's a new name in the YouTube tier list. So I'm glad to see you here. Why? So again, for the YouTube tiers, everybody, like one of the huge benefits of it is as I'm reading here, you can't see my chart, but I can see your emblem, so I just skip over most of the questions, go straight to them. So that is one of the big values of that. All right. So why does Silo randomly pump? Well, part of that reason is because it's a small cap, which means there's not much money in it. Loosely put, it's a smaller coin, right? Like a penny stock or something. And it does not take much money to move it. So you could move it with like $40,000, $50,000. So it could just be a small Discord group saying, hey, hit support. Let's buy slowly here. And then everybody at this time, this day, we're going to market buy. We're going to market buy past this wick. And by that point, bots and other moon boys will start buying it. And then we can stop buying here and start selling at the next horizontal. And so since we stacked on maybe 40% of what we want slowly here over time, and then everybody hit the market buy at once here, your average entry would be somewhere like this, and you sell here, that's 50%. 50% return on your money in just a few days on a small coin. I mean, it's risky, but it doesn't take much money to move it. My Discord, I don't plan that kind of stuff. I know there are a couple out there that do it, or maybe probably more than a couple. They actually plan pumps at reasonable areas. It's not like they're like everything's down and Bitcoin's crashing, they plan a pump. No, they're doing it at a support level, perhaps when EMAs are crossing up on the daily, something like that. And you'll see it on Twitter. Like people say, we plan pumps. Like you want to be part of the pump group? Like that's not trading. What are you doing? But that could be it. It doesn't take much money to move it. Therefore, Discord with a certain amount of people, that would be a great, and it's been very steady. So Silo is a perfect target for a pump group. It's honestly a really good coin for Discord to do. Now you're giving me ideas here. let me log on to my Discord right now. No, I'm not going to do that. But it's actually not a bad idea, but I won't do that. I'll stick to my word. I don't do that, so I won't do it. But it does sound like fun. Before, as a YouTuber, I did it with a small group of private people I know, my friends, and it worked fabulously. We got B-Pro on the top gainers list 2 days in a row. And then guess what? Somebody with 400 or 500,000 YouTube subscribers likes to look at the top gainers list and talk about coins no one's ever talked about because it's hot. And then it all went up even more, and we completed our plan. So, it worked out fabulously. All right. So that's the Silo. AVAX and near protocol bear market targets. I think I have them labeled. I'm going to turn on my air conditioner one more time. Actually, no, I won't. I'm going to... Well, I've already done both bear market targets for YouTube. I've already recorded that, so I will just do this quickly. Oh. Okay, so right here. AVAX, $9. Very simply. $9. So this was my original bear market target. It has gone way below. Like I said, when I draw a box on my chart, it's probably going to be hit. So you might want to put it on your chart too, right? And so yeah, $9. Maybe only 11, but probably 9. Yep, between 9 and 11 bear market targets. And then near protocol. Oh, I did not know this happened. This would be the best coin ever to have been riding shorts. That makes me want to call one of my team leaders and ask him, because this was his favorite coin to trade. And if somebody were trading short, which is the trend, this would have been massively profitable. Oh my God, why did I not see this? But this coin's too volatile for me to trade with my style of entries, so I choose not to trade it. I just like trading Ethereum and Cardano, really. Bitcoin sometimes too, but since Ethereum moves with Bitcoin and it's slightly more volatile, but not too volatile, it's just, and Ethereum just moves much more nicely. It has fewer fake outs, and when Bitcoin is doing a fake out, Ethereum typically doesn't follow it quite as hard, typically. So it's more manageable. Wow. Yo, was this connected to Luna or something? No, this is back in April. Well, gosh, this is really bad. It looks like it's gonna break all-time lows to me. People gave up, so there aren't interested buyers in this. It's very likely going to hit there or here. So it's either going to hit $2.20 or it's going to hit $1.60 or lower. Those are my three guesses, and it's very probable. $2.22 is extremely probable. Extremely probable. Like, as in, it's probably way too high of a guess. Remember the NASDAQ chart? Equator and tropics lines? Okay, we're not there yet, so that's probably too high. But $2.20, $1.60 or lower. That's it. All right, next question. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I won't record that. Whatever. That's just horrible looking. That's bad. It almost looks like it was connected to, like, did this have something to do with Luna? Like it had money in UST or something? That's what it looks like. It's done. That's pretty bad. Maybe not done. It's only down 83%, so I guess that's not relatively that horrible, but looks pretty bad. All right. Great VIP. Yeah, it was a great VIP call. That was a good one. That had a lot of good questions. A lot of great stuff. It was. All right. Okay, hold on, John. What was I mean to John earlier? Hold on. John, if I was mean to you, I might be sorry. Let me look. Or maybe you're responding to Grace. No, I think you're responding to Grace. Okay. Yeah, you're responding to somebody. Okay. I saw a Korean pump group pump metal from $1 to 15 in a couple days. Yeah, it's real. Pump group, yeah, it's real, and it's profitable. I mean, it can be. It really. I mean, the one time I tried it, I was wildly successful before I was a YouTuber, which is kind of what made me make videos on BPro in general, because I wanted to show the folks that I was like in that with, I didn't have another way to communicate like where are levels to buy and sell so we can keep like accumulating on the way up, right? Catching dips and stuff. And so I just published a YouTube video for them to watch, but then other people watched it and then people demanded more, and that's how I became a YouTuber, and I had to quit my day job and everything. Especially after that happened after the viewers then said, you need a Patreon so we can pay you back. We're making too much money because you're like clairvoyant, which a bull market, of course, somebody experienced is going to look like a genius because it's easy. Like, all you have to do is figure out when buyers are going to stop buying. It's that simple. And for all of you too, as long as you were here through that bull market and you make it through this bear market, next bull market's going to be a piece of cake. It'll be so easy, and you're just going to take so much money from the new people. It's going to be stupid. As long as you sell, you just have to be selling a lot. That's all you have to do. You can't make money in a bull market if you're not selling frequently. Don't worry about how high it might go. Don't worry about opportunity costs. Like, take your fucking money because you're taking it from noobs coming in. And once you take your money, just go find another coin that's getting ready to pop off because you know what it looks like. And then when it goes up like 200, 300%, who cares if it's going to go up 1,000%? Just sell it like 200% up and go find the next coin that's going to do a double. If you can double your money, right, just a few times, that's more than 10x. So why wait for it to go 10x? Just take 2 to 3x, take your money out. Who cares if it goes 10x? Who cares? I'll go find another 2 to 3x coin. It's so much easier. Yeah, getting multiple 2 to 3xers is so much easier than finding a 10xer. So much easier. Especially in one move. Typically, you'll have like a 70% pullback within a 10x move, right? So just don't wait for it to go 10x. Just get out at 3. Which is what I did with Veracity, and people made fun of me. I was like, no, because I went to go find MTV, and I made a lot of money off that. Yeah. I 3x my money, then punted in MTV, and it raced up. All right. Anyway. So, Waves, I think, didn't Waves get its ass kicked? I really thought Waves was going to be wildly successful. I almost became a fan. No, it actually looks pretty good. No, structurally for a bear market, this is actually pretty good. It's actually really good. So I'm not going to count this as the high. This is actually, wait, it made an all-time high in 2022? Wow. This is, no other coin in crypto did this. It made a high with Bitcoin 64K top, a lower high with Bitcoin 69K top, which most coins did. The vast majority. It was only strong coins like Atom. Not even Ethereum made a higher high there. Atom, Phantom, I think made a higher high. Like a handful of coins, maybe even Solana made. Yeah, Solana made a higher high there in November. So it did the common play, but then made a higher high. So I'm not going to count that as. I'm going to measure from here. How far down in this bear market is it? That's about normal. It's kind of par for the course, so it actually doesn't look that bad. It hasn't gotten its ass kicked. Waves is honestly not going to be that hard to figure out, to be honest with you. So watch how I do this. And for everybody who wants to figure out how I, know how I do channels, okay, I'm about ready to show you, so pay attention. So I find one obvious line that has some type of ascending structure, or in micro channels, descending, right? But for macro stuff, big macro, the whole price chart, I'm going to go upward. So I see how this is all, there's something here, and there's something here. But guess what? They're parallel. They meet up. So this is the master line of this chart, and everything that is relevant will be parallel to it. So now take that and hold the control button or command on a Mac, control on a PC, hold control. I still have control down. I'm not clicking. Control is down. I hover over there and click, and I still have control down. And then I try to find something like some best fit line like this. There you go. Technically, I could put it up a little higher, but I think this is like the top of the range. Everything else was just flamboyant. So I'm going to call that essentially 90% of all price action is between those two lines. I'm comfortable with it. And then I click this tool up here, which is 4 down. So you have, you can't see it. So up here you have the cursor, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the rotated rectangle. Okay, but I have it stored up here because I start it. The rotated rectangle, drag it across, pull it. Like, just guess how thick it needs to be. You don't have to get exact. You can change the thickness later, and then put it somewhere where a lot of middle stuff happens. There you go. Make it the right thickness, something about like that. So I'm really concentrating on this higher low there. And so the top of it gets that wick here. Let me zoom in. So it gets this higher low, it gets that wick at the top, this higher low, this higher low. So this is the point of control of the whole range, of the whole price history, right? So this is the middle, kind of like that blue line in NASDAQ. However, I'm seeing a problem already that this line needs to be equidistant. You know, these two lines need to be equidistant, so it's not. So this line's too low, or this line is too, or this line's too far away. But I know it's not this line because this is the master line. So I've done something wrong with this line. So now I can kind of recalibrate. I can probably just go like this. Put it right in the middle. There you go. Okay, so now they're equidistant and parallel. Now I'll drag one line to her. I'll hold control, drag another line, and I will put it where I see tops and bottoms all touching, and then I will make it thinner, make it dashed. There you go. So what I did was I lined it up with that high, that low, that low, that low, that low, that high, that low. That's it. So this is a real line. And then from there, I can just drag this guy down to where another low's hit, and then I want everything roughly equidistant, right? So I just kind of gauge, is this line, is this gap here about the same gap here and the same gap here? Yes, they are. So now what I can do is I can hold control and click this while control's still down, and click the second line, and you can see that they're both highlighted because you have the blue circles here, right? So I still have control down. Control is, I'm holding it with my pinky. Now that I've clicked both, now I hover over one of them and drag them both down. And you're welcome for this trading view tutorial. What other crypto YouTuber does this? All right. Maybe a couple, I don't know. But if you do know a couple people, I mean, you should probably watch a lot of their stuff because they're trying to help. All right. And then just to make it sexy for sharing reasons and for Twitter marketing and all that stuff, I try to make it, you know, nice and kind of like it makes a straight line like this. So if you want to make it look sexy, then you can do this. Just try to make sure all the lines go to the same straight line. And make sure you don't mess up the parallel nature as you're doing this too much. There. Okay, now it's sexy. I haven't done it for this side, whatever. Something like that. Boom. Boom. Now we have a sexy chart. Okay, waves. Let's see here. Well, what do you think now? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You can just literally look at it and go, hey, $2.70. There you go. That's your bottom. That easy. See that? I should have freaking recorded that. That was fantastic. Yeah, that's your. That's where it's going. It's gonna hit the bottom. That's it. And it'll probably wick past. So, like, see how this wicked past? Because it fell from, just like NASDAQ, it's falling from up high. It's got to hit a spot. It's going to overshoot it. So it's probably going, it might hit 230, maybe even down to $2. But yeah, probably $2 is a low. $2, something like that. It'll probably hit like a running parallel line like this. So, yeah, right at $2, $2.10, something like that. It'll wick past that line. There you go. I might as well save this chart now that I've. So now I'm going to add it to my watch list. I just click this guy, add it to watch list, boom, and now it's at the bottom. I will bring it up to. I need to delete all those. I don't deal with those 3S3 altcoins. They're not. There you go. $2.10 to $2.60 is the range where it's going to bottom out. Where is it going immediately? Well, if Bitcoin goes to 22K, that's 4.6% out. Oh, that's 40. So it's not getting up there. It will probably. it would have a hell. So if Bitcoin goes to 22 to 24, it won't get over this box here. Those two wick highs will stop it. Sellers will come in and beat it down at $8, right at $8. So even if Bitcoin goes to 24K, this is not going over $8. All right. Yeah, it won't even get up to this line. This line, that's why the measuring tool is so important. It looks close, but it's not. It's 40% away. It's not going to hit that. All right. Yeah, Bitcoin will probably be under 18K before this line is ever hit on waves. So which means it won't be hit for a long time. Years. Like it probably won't ever see this line for more than 2 years if you expand it out. I'm telling you, like that is because it's ascending, so it's going to be harder to hit it the longer it gets. So it might be 4 years, and this could be the next market cycle for this coin. It could get the top. So this line up here is likely going to be out of play next time. So either this will be the resistance point or this will be the resistance point for the next bull market because it's ascending. So it goes up in price with time. Audio US. Okay. All right. DCF asks a question. I know you love monetary coins, but what layer one would you say will have most gains next bull run from bottom? Well, I'm glad. So that's a well written question because you're specifically defining from a bottom. So if I can go back in time and answer that in 2017, it's Cardano. Not because you should be necessarily bullish on it during a bear market, but because it's going to go down the lowest and then recover, right? And so I've said this a few times live and on YouTube, but it is a mathematical error to say that Cardano outperformed Ethereum and Bitcoin. Because if you made Cardano only go down as much as Ethereum did, which is 94% last time, as opposed to 98.77, if you took that line, stopped Cardano there, and then drew up to its all-time high, it did not outperform, right? So you can't account the weakness for strength in the run-up, which it's a mathematical error to say it outperformed Ethereum. It is. It's an error. It's wrong, right? Because you're accounting weakness for strength, and you can't do that, right? But if you say from the bottom, in terms of where would I get most gains, that's going to be a hard question to ask because you are essentially needing to find the coin that will get its ass kicked the hardest and recover with everything else. So that's your coin. So in Cardano, this bear market doesn't look like it's going to get its ass kicked like it is this time. It's actually looking okay. There are a lot of people interested in buying Cardano and keeping it from tanking, so it's not going to be Cardano this time. Cardano's holding up a little too strong for that to be the answer. Near Protocol is looking like what's getting its ass kicked hard? I don't know the answer, but I'm giving you the parameters, like what coin it has, the parameters of what has to be true for that. But you just have to go find out what coin fits the bill. It's going to get its ass kicked the hardest and recover, just like everything. That's it. That's what will have the most gains from the bottom. But you have to figure out which one's going to get its ass kicked the hardest and not die, because it's got to make all-time highs. So if you go to anything like Neo and EOS and all that, the layer ones from there, they didn't make all-time highs. They didn't even beat their all-time highs from neither did monetary coins. Right? Dash didn't get to $1,000. Litecoin didn't pass its previous. It got up to it, but it got rejected. Didn't pass it. Not even Litecoin. The only monetary coin that paid, not even XRP, which is a pseudo monetary coin. Pseudo. It's not even a real crypto, but it's not. It's not cryptographically. It's not crypto. Literally, factually. It's not. But it's in the crypto space, so I'm not dissing XRP. It's an interesting solution for space. Anyway, I don't know which one to get its ass kicked and recover. So yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know. I just am worried about making money off of trading Ethereum and accumulating Dash, and then once I think a bottom is in and I see one strong candle closure above the weekly 10 on Bitcoin, I'll start buying altcoins. But I'm not going to buy them until then. I might buy a little bit when I think it's a bottom before Bitcoin gets a weekly closure above the weekly 10, but it won't be super heavy. It won't be heavy because the stock market and Bitcoin could go down until late 2023. It could easily happen. Like, we could only be like barely halfway into this. Like, you better buckle up, babies, because this could be this could be like the mega bear market, which there's already facts in the chart stating that. Which other bear market went below its previous market cycle top? Zero. Only this one. Key evidence that this will be the big reset in crypto. Like, this is probably going to be the one where those 2017 coins like EOS and NEO, it's likely that they're going to disappear before next bull run. I would think that's true. I think we're going to have a pretty big reset, and Bitcoin dominance is probably going to go fucking crazy. And a lot of people are going to respect Bitcoin a shit ton more. And then, after you get that fact in your head, the next bull run, you're going to look at all the people chasing the flavor of the month like you did this run, right? Like, I did it too in 2017. I was the graduate. I'm a crypto class of 2017. Most of you are crypto class of 2021. That's fine. I went through the same process. But you'll go through the same process. You're going to respect Bitcoin a lot more after this. You're going to see a lot of stuff die. We already started off with Luna, right? So it's just, Luna did not cause the crash. Luna died because of the crash. It's causality. People have it flipped. Like, people say, but how did you didn't predict this because you didn't predict Luna going down. Actually, Luna went down because of what I predicted. Because what I predicted came true. It's not the opposite. So yeah, Bitcoin now is going to go crazy. It's probably going to go over 60%. I'll just pull it up. Look, it's going to get dirty. And so what I was going to say, though, is actually before I pull it up, is a lot of you will not become a Bitcoin maxi because really, if you can chase the flavors of the month and actually sell, you're going to make more money than buying Bitcoin in a bull market. You will, if you're successful with that. It's actually a pretty good strategy. Understanding what will retail buy. I don't care about the project. I just care, are people going to buy it? That's all that matters. That's how you're going to make money. We're here to make money, right? And here, I'm here to make money to accumulate Bitcoin and Dash. And maybe Litecoin to that list too. All three monetary coins. Because those are the ones that are going to stand the test of time. Because they're not a company. So the only reason I even buy altcoins is to get more monetary coins. That's the only reason I'm here. Like, and I even piss with altcoins. Like, the only exception to that is maybe Ethereum. That's why it's behind me. Is the layer one of that you can feel moderately confident relative to crypto, like being in, like as a layer one, non-monetary. Anyway, Solana may have a good gains too, but it won't repeat 250 times. Maybe it does 25 to 35. Yeah, 25 to 35 sounds good. I'm going to show you Bitcoin dominance here in a second. Cardano, though, from its bottom, it did like 135x in its second bull run from bottom. But if it had only gone down as much as Ethereum, it would have 30x'd. Because the difference between 94% to 99 is huge. It's like 70% difference. It's not 5% difference. It's like 70. It's something like 70%. It's huge. So if Solana goes way down and gets its ass kicked, it could be a good pick for the one that gets its ass kicked the hardest, but also recovers and makes all-time highs next bull market. Whatever coin is going to do, fit that bill. That's the absolute best gains in all of layer ones. But it's going to be hard to figure out which one it is. Because a lot of the ones that get their ass kicked, they're not going to make all-time highs. Let's do NEO, EOS, and then Bitcoin dominance. Watch. So NEO. The Chinese Ethereum. This thing went freaking ape shit like so fast. Like, I think it was lower. It was like way down here. Yeah, it went up to 200 plus bucks. Okay, well, it got its ass kicked, right? It got its ass kicked huge. Go down 99% like Cardano. Oh, it went down less than Cardano. Cardano went down 98.77. So it still got its ass kicked. But did it make another all-time high? It did not. Therefore, so that's why it's going to be so hard to pick a coin like that with the best gains, because it has to both get its ass kicked and make all-time highs. But if you identify 10 layer ones that get their ass kicked, either 9 or 10 out of 10 will not make all-time highs next time. I'm telling you. Fucking telling you. I'm telling you. There's going to be more money in chasing the flavor of the month next bull run than there is to hang on to a 2021 coin. Just like hanging on to 2017 coins didn't work this time. Your 2021 layer ones aren't going to work next time. Maybe one, maybe two. And that one or maybe two probably aren't the ones that are going to get their ass kicked. So there might not be one that fits that bill exactly, but if there is, that would be the absolute best buy outside of chasing flavors of the month. Which is what I did with BPro, because there were 4 keywords that were getting pumped by crypto YouTubers. And BPro had 3 or 4, and it hadn't skyrocketed yet in February. So I decided, hey, this is the next one. It fits 3 to 4 things, because you couldn't get 4 or 4. That was before NFTs. NFTs was the 5th thing, but it was before NFTs were hot. It was like Oracles was your 2020 stuff that led the bull market. And then you had DeFi, and then you had oh God, what was the other? Oh, Web3 was, and then what was the 4th thing? There were 4 things at the time, and BPro had 3 or 4. So yeah, you're gonna make way more money just literally waiting and not worrying about your 2021 coins. You're gonna make so much more money. And when I say things like that, I'm probably right. So I'm telling you, that's why we're doing all this research about these 2021 coins and which one's gonna survive. Might as well just not do it, in my opinion. I've already been through a full cycle. Most of you haven't. You're probably wasting your time. And I'm sorry to say that, but I'm actually not sorry. It's just, it sucks that I have to say that, but I'm saying it because it's going to be true. It's going to be true. All right. So Neo didn't make all-time highs. All right. EOS. I think EOS might have squeaked out an all-time. Did it? Nope. All-time high, didn't make it. And that's what your 2021 coins are going to do. And Cardano is probably one of them. Just statistically. I'm not saying in terms of project fundamentals, right? But everybody with Neo project fundamentals didn't believe it either. Everybody else in project fundamentals didn't believe it either. Dan Larimer is the genius. Yeah, but he also started projects and fucking left every single one of them, EOS included. Like, what are people thinking? But I was one of those people too. Like, in retrospect, I'm saying that to myself. And then Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so take a look at Bitcoin dominance. It's like, I want to make sure what I'm saying is it makes sense in the charts, which I think it does. Oh yeah, I already have it fucking labeled. There you go, right there, bam. So it's obviously not hitting it in the time frame that I thought, or at least where I plop this down. So as time goes, this 55% here is going to be the next line over. So here, I'm going to actually, since it's not racing up that fast, I will have to move it here, and that's in October of this year. And 57.4 is now over. Beautiful. All right. So those are essentially the 3 targets. And I might have to change the middle one. It needs to be equidistant. Because the higher it is, the longer it'll take to get there statistically. So 58. Yeah, that's close enough. 58. There you go. So what type of trajectory? This would have to start kind of getting up here. After this higher low, it's going to have to start moving. So I'm going to make a channel. Gosh, it might actually take longer than that. This is going to go down a long time, folks. It's probably going to do something more like this. It's probably going to follow this the whole time. it looks like it's got a pretty established range. It could get hotter than that and go above it, but I think it's more probable it stays in here. Therefore, I would go actually more like this. So that is 60%, so that still works. This is now 56%. How does it go? Maybe my lines aren't right, but whatever. Something to this effect. Okay. It's probably going to stay in there. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is going to go up a while. And it's going to get real hot. But when you zoom out, it makes perfect sense, right? It's just like an altcoin. It starts up real high, dips way down, makes a lower high, comes down, makes a lower high. That's it. Same thing. So, yeah, actually 60% is probably about where it's going. It likely won't go too much higher than 60%. But once Bitcoin dominance gets above 58, you know the bottom is pretty close to being in, or it already is in. That's a good bottom signal. All right. What do you think of BNB? I think that exchange coins... hey, Ivan, nice to see you here. I think exchange coins... like KuCoin shares and BNB, I think as long as SEC doesn't come after the exchanges, that they're going to do really, really well. I know there's either FUD or FAX, I don't know which one it is, but that SEC's coming after Binance to some degree or wrote him a letter or something like that. I don't know. But as long as the SEC doesn't like try to do something to that foreign company, which I don't know what they could do, Really, I don't know how that would... I guess that would cut off availability for U.S. people to participate in it, which would take away from a lot of the buying pressure. So that could, but I would... So for BNB, I would pay attention to the SEC, how it is on its tail or not. And I would... so similar to how you have people really into... I have to say that. It's not working here because this is a metal building. Let's go to the house. Ask Allie to help. Oh. All right, it's past my time, so my kids are coming to my office. I would, so for BNB, I would pay attention to that. Similar to how people are paying attention to the whole XRP Ripple stuff. If you're interested in BNB, I would pay attention to that. But if that were to get to blow over with that unsafe assumption, it might be moderately safe, but it's not too safe. But making that loose assumption, I think the exchange coins are going to do extremely well. And so, you know, people have asked me, what coins are you interested in buying in the bear market? Well, I mean, KuCoin shares is one of them because I use KuCoin. And if it's going to do well and I can buy it at a low and my fees are lower because of it, I'm going to buy it. And that's why they're going to do well. Because people have an innate, like a defined reason. Like there is a reason to hold it and become a buyer of them, right? Because also, as you're holding them during a bull market, during a bear market, I don't know if it's worth holding them just to have your fees reduced because then you're losing 80% of your money in it. So that doesn't make sense. Unless the reduction in fees, like the reward of that is greater than seeing the amount of money in KuCoin shares or BNB go down. I don't think that's mathematically possible. That would be too good of incentive. I don't think they're providing that strong of incentives to hold. So, but in a bull market, I mean, it's a damn good choice, especially if you're trading more than twice a week. It's or like multiple clicks a day. It's definitely worth it. So I think it has. But to look at a chart though, but that's from an investor standpoint, like waxing philosophical. I don't even think I have BNB saved. I don't even. I can't use Binance. Yeah, this is holding up fucking really well. My goodness. But I already have the targets labeled. So just depending on how deeply Bitcoin goes with traditional markets and how Yeah, I'm confident with where NASDAQ and S&P are going. Like, I'm pretty fucking confident. Like, the reverting back to the average, the blue line, and going past it, it's extremely likely to happen. Yeah, and that is baked in with the Fed could loosen up. It doesn't matter. It is the average for a reason, and the Fed's decision making will magically align with that line. I'm telling you, it will. Like, they'll probably reverse the decision after they both go under there, and then they'll ease stuff up. That's exactly what's going to happen, most likely. And it's going to happen because that's when they're going to allow this party on Wall Street to happen so they can all make money again. Like, that's exactly the way it's going to go. Like, when Elon tweeted or people tweet about a coin, they do it because there's something in the charts that's getting ready to happen that's bullish, so they've already accumulated it before they make some announcement, and then it goes up. But they're not doing it when things are, like, at a stupid point to do it. They're doing it when it says in the charts that it could pull up, right? So the same thing for Fed decision. They're not gonna ease up until it goes past that line. It's just the way it works, and it will work that way most likely. So they already have it labeled. There you go. So depending on how deeply this goes, there's nothing to stop it here. There could be a fib here, maybe that stops it. I actually might be missing something there. Yep. Nope, it's already hitting that. Nope, there is nothing. The fibs line up with my horizontals. Isn't that crazy? No, it's not. This is why I don't really use fibs unless you're in price discovery up or down. Because I already have the levels myself. See that? 618, exactly in the middle of my box. 786, right at the top of my box. Like, so there's not one in the middle. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. So, but it could stop at $110. But if Bitcoin wicks down to 9K, 9,600, it's going to spill hard. It's going to do one of these, but bigger, and it's going to spill down to about $42. 33 in the middle. It'll hit close to $42 if Bitcoin fills the gap at 9,600. That's where it's going. That's BNB. All right, and so DCF, and then I gotta go. BNB burns a lot of supply. That's why the coins are holding up decently. Well, then why is KuCoins holding up just as well? Are they burning? Did Omi Burnonomics help hold its coins up? They were burning like hundreds of millions of it. I think so. Just how the printing of dollars took about a year and a half to take effect with $5 gas. So without Russia conflict, okay, we'd have $4 gas. Whatever. The pipeline from Canada got shut off and canceled. That is a lot of it too. That would still exist. You'd still have $4 gas, right? Without Russia, Ukraine stuff. Maybe even $4.50. It wouldn't be quite as $5 in the Midwest, like, or maybe $6 in California. I don't know. But you wouldn't have national average of $5. It'd be closer to $4.50. You'd still have it over $4. It would be all-time high still. So just like inflation, the money printing took about a year and a half. There's not a year and a half in that. So the burning is not the reason. Now, for what you said, could that be a reason why in the end it does hold up at 110? Maybe a year and a half later, of all these effects? Or maybe they've been burning way back there. I don't know. But it's just whatever burning they're doing recently, it's going to take a year and a half effect. So if this bear market lasts a while, yeah, that would be a good reason that 110 to 120 does hold up. But I don't know. I would question the idea that that's why it's holding up well now. But it really could be, because it is holding up fucking really well. I mean, it could be, but typically monetary supply and inflationary events like increasing monetary supply of something or decreasing monetary supply, it has a delayed effect. And in national level, it's a year and a half. Maybe it's expedited here, but I don't think so. I would say it would be a good reason. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that would be my 2 cents on that. All right. All right. Binance US, I tried putting in a stupid buy order on Sol at 245 in case of a liquidation death spiral, but the exchange doesn't let you put in a buy order below 7. But just put it at 7. Yeah. Like, honestly, 12 is a good area. There's a big horizontal at $12 on Solana. Yeah, I would try it somewhere around 12 to 7 and be happy with it. Yeah, they're reducing your ability to catch profit from a big spill or something, but I mean, there's still a lot of opportunity buying at $7 to $12. I mean, if that were to happen. All right, cool. All right, I will see everybody back on Tuesday at 7 p.m. New York, which is 11 London and midnight Berlin. Tuesday, so I do these on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and hopefully I can keep the streams, showing you what I've done right this week in trading. Not giving you the nitty-gritty VIP stuff, but just, showing you on a chart. I made $900 from here to here, or I got my ass kicked here. I was an idiot here, right? So I'll try to keep these, pretty relevant for you. I'm not just doing TA, but showing in terms of money, how do I make money, where do I make money, stupid shit, and then analysis, then I'll do questions. Hopefully this was valuable to you, and I hope to see you all back Tuesday at 7 p.m. and then thereafter at Thursday at 7 p.m. My Twitter, I post that stuff all over Twitter, like the day before, the day of. On my Twitter, I let everybody know 7 p.m. tonight. It starts in an hour. It starts later tonight. So make sure you follow me on Twitter at CosasVerdes2. And don't hesitate to check out the Discord or the YouTube tiers if Discord stuff is not your thing because you work 14 hours a day. Then YouTube tiers might be where it's at because I record the stuff, put it on there, and put all the alerts in a nice, easy to view type of format. And if you really want to see what it looks like for non-Discord people, I'll actually pull one up. Let's do this. So today, after I got my ass kicked, I let everybody know I am not going to trade unless this happens. I need to see a 15-minute RSI signature like this. But what did I do? Nope, I decided not to do that, not to do what I just said. But anyway, I was trying to let them know, hey, like, don't try to go long until a signature like this happens. But instead what happened is it did one of these over here. It just flew up. So the signature actually never happened. It just flew up. Because it was a fake out to the downside and it flew up. But I shouldn't have traded. That means I should not have traded, right? So that's one. So where did my Discord go? Okay. And then, yeah, so this is all from today. So I let everybody know what I'm thinking. And then, and so this is all today still. Like, this all goes to the YouTube tier, too. So I let folks know what I'm looking for. I was saying it doesn't look like it's going to be fake out. I think the trend will stay up, which in the end was right. You had a fake out to the downside, and then it went up. But I was letting folks know a lot of times in traditional markets, if the day starts, if it starts up, it's actually a fake out. But I was letting them know here's the reasons why I don't think it's a fake out on NASDAQ. And then that was like the second or third alert of the day. And then where did I start the day? So, I started with, okay, here's, so the YouTube Cryptillion tier, and then Discord, all the Discord community gets stuff like this. I let people know what I'm thinking, and it just is a nice area. So you can, so I do this earlier. So if I do a YouTube video, it's usually in the evening, right? Well, do you want that information and start off your day? Like, that would be pretty nice, right? So this all starts in the morning, and I let people know what I'm thinking, and I'm bullish, but very specifically, this line is the invalidation line. I will no longer be bullish, if it goes below here and uses as resistance, which is essentially what I said on YouTube. But I typically don't make a YouTube video in the morning, so they get all this information way before everybody else. And these updates, and it's not a damn 20-minute video. You can look at this and digest this very quickly. It's all that 20-minute video and more, because you can see everything, right? So I provide that for the Cryptillion tier, the higher tier of YouTube, but all tiers on Discord. If you want a shit ton of information every day, and just let you know, running stream of my thoughts here. I think my first alert of the day was this guy, and then throughout the day, here you go. So that's all in one day. Right? That's a lot of good stuff. So, again, I'll see you back on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. You just got 10 worldwide. Peace.